treachery. And you thought they played dirty on SmackDown. MT2K 2 weeks from tonight on UPN. A daring landing on a speeding van. A race past a wall of crashing automobiles on an all-new I Dare You.
Tuesday night at 8 on Oregon's 12.
The President's Day holiday starts with a shooting at a Portland mall. One man is hit, another on the run. Good evening, everybody. A lot more to learn tonight, but police are taking no chances.
That's because the gunman is still out there with a job undone. This all happened at Mall 205 in southeast Portland. Drew Mickelson is there live with the latest. Drew?
Well, Kurt, Danny Lay is listed in serious condition at a local hospital. The police aren't saying which one because they're afraid this attacker may try to hunt him down and finish off the job. And this is what happened this morning. Danny Lay and a friend came out here to Mall 205 to try to use the DMV office, but the office was closed. So they started heading back to their car. Well, when they did that, someone pulled up to this curb, pulled out a gun, and shot that man right in the stomach. Investigators are looking for the man who shot Danny Lay at Mall 205 Monday morning. He's described as a Hispanic male who's 6 feet tall, 160 to 170 pounds, with dark hair and a poxmarked complexion. Police say he was driving a gray hatchback at the time of the shooting. The shooter and the victim likely knew each other, so police do not believe this was a random shooting.
I don't see any other crimes that we might be able to relate this to, at least not at this time.
It's just unfortunate you get these incidents that pop up from time to time.
Mall 205's general manager says this apparent premeditated shooting could have happened anywhere, so he doesn't want the crime to scare away any customers, especially right now. The mall is about to go through their Millennium Makeover, highlighted by the construction of a 24-hour fitness on mall property.
They're going to have all of the sauna, jacuzzi, weights, aerobics.
To make room for the health club, Mall 205's management decided not to renew leases for several tenants, including a pub and a liquor store. They're hoping to attract a different kind of customer.
We try to put in stores that are going to be complementary, and the liquor store and the pub were good tenants, good owners, but didn't necessarily bring in customers who would complement the other retail outlets.
And even though the shooting does not appear to have had anything to do with Mall 205, the GM hopes their renovation will prevent future crimes from happening at the mall.
You always hope to do that with upgrading of a shopping center. Can be in conjunction with upgrading of the entire commercial area here.
As far as the Mall 205 renovation, it should all be finished by this November. Now, talking about this crime, the police are not saying if it was drug or gang-related, but they are pretty certain that the two parties, the shooter and the victim, did know each other, so they are confident this was not some random act of violence.
Doesn't sound like it. All right, Drew Mickelson reporting live. Drew, thank you. Kim?
In other news tonight, 35 men and 1 woman have been arrested after a prostitution sting in northeast Portland. Police say businesses in the area of Northeast Sandy Boulevard and 82nd Avenue have been complaining about prostitution. Officers also seized 24 cars. They can do that under a city ordinance in which owners have to pay $750 to get their cars back.
A bonus for Portland police officers who served an arrest warrant. They got their man and a meth lab, too. Police went to arrest 39-year-old Lionel York on an outstanding warrant. They heard some noise in the garage, and what do you know? They say they found York working a methamphetamine lab. Now he's facing a whole lot more charges than just violating his parole.
More than 8 years after an elderly Yoncalla woman was sexually assaulted and killed, police have charged 2 men with her murder. John Teller of Eugene and Todd Lane of Sutherland are charged with the murder of 86-year-old Gertrude Williams. She was suffocated to death in her home. Most of her ribs had been broken.
Security guards on the state's college campuses could soon be packing heat. Right now, they can't legally carry a gun, but as David Wilson reports, that could change because of fears that an unarmed security guard can't protect the public.
Well, most of the students on the PSU campus tell us they feel safe while going to school. So why all the talk of security possibly packing heat? Well, Portland state leaders say a situation may come up where they need security officers to be armed. And if that happens, they want to be able to react. Right now, if violence strikes the seemingly quiet PSU campus, the school's unarmed security officers would radio for Portland police. but a phone call takes time.
The public safety officers up here don't carry any type of weaponry.
Campus parking monitors say PSU might be safer with armed security officers.
If they can be on scene right now, our public safety officers, and they have a gun to back their enforcement up, that's just much more of a deterrent, and it can't hurt the public safety at all.
So how about the students? What do they think?
No, I don't think it's necessary at all, because there's not enough crime or violence that goes on to have to carry a gun.
Wouldn't bother me if they carried guns. That would be fine. Why would they need guns? That's what my question would be. I've never seen anything happen here.
The real question is whether the authority for campus safety officers ought to rest with the Board of Higher Education or with the legislature.
Second reading, Senate bill.
Right now, whether campus security is allowed to carry guns on any of Oregon's state universities rests solely with the state legislature. PSU President Dan Bernstein wants the legislature to turn that decision over to the State Board of Higher Education.
The change in legislation would merely allow the board and a campus president to examine every option available to maximize safety on campus.
President Bernstein says he is not yet ready to arm security officers at PSU, but he says if a safety need arises, the decision should not be held up by state lawmakers. In Portland, David Wilson, the 10 o'clock news.
Now, in order to arm the guards, the Board of Higher Education would have to ask the state legislature to give up its control over campus security.
The search continues for the cause of a fire that did heavy damage to a Washington State University fraternity house on Saturday. No one was hurt, but firefighters made a very curious discovery at the Sigma Mu house. A student bound to a bed and tied up with duct tape. The university is investigating to see if that man was the victim of hazing. That's against fraternity rules.
Tonight, a head-on collision on a deserted section of Marine Drive near the Portland airport. There were 2 people hurt, a driver in each car. One of them was trapped inside the wreckage for a while. Portland police say the one car was going westbound on Marine, another was going eastbound. Another car stopped to make a turn, and the one following it couldn't stop crossing the center line.
There was 2 citizens that stopped by when the accident happened and assisted by using their personal fire extinguishers to help extinguish a small fire in one of the vehicles prior to the arrival of the fire department and emergency medical service personnel.
Both drivers were rushed to Emmanuel Hospital. One is in critical condition. The other is in fair condition tonight. An Oregon-based rescue crew is treating injured men aboard a German ship that is on its way to San Diego. 2 men aboard the ship were burned in a fire. The Portland-based Air Force reservist parachuted into the ocean last night in order to treat the burn victims. That ship is about 1,100 miles southwest of San Diego. It's expected to dock there within 3 days.
More troubles in the sky tonight. Another MD-80 is forced to make an emergency landing. The Continental plane landed at a South Bend, Indiana airport. The plane was headed from Las Vegas to Cleveland. The crew reported problems keeping the jet level after dropping 1,000 feet in altitude. 141 passengers and 5 crew members were on board. No one was injured. This MD-80 is similar to the Alaska Airlines jet that crashed off the coast of Los Angeles last month. America's top federal mediator hopes to end the strike by Boeing's engineers and technical workers. That mediator will be in Seattle tomorrow, but a spokesman for the striking SPIA union says negotiations aren't set yet. The strike's in its 12th day. SPIA workers want guaranteed bonuses. Boeing's offering bonuses based on merit.
Tonight, airfares are dropping almost as fast as they went up. This past Friday, Continental increased ticket prices by $10 to $30 on round-trip fares. And by yesterday, American, Delta, TWA, United, and U.S. Airways had done the same. But by this morning, American, Delta, TWA, and U.S. Airways had dropped their ticket increase because Northwest never raised its fares. When the major U.S. airlines added a surcharge to their ticket prices last month, they said it was because of rising fuel costs.
They start off 2000 with this fuel surcharge, and we expect to see that as we go through 2000, the airlines will continue to have fare increases. I predict that when 2000 is over, the pleasure traveler will find that they are paying more for air travel than they did when 2000 began.
And travelers seem to be willing to pay more. If you'd rather drive than fly, though, consider this. Gas prices jumped almost 8 cents per gallon this month, with gas and crude oil prices reaching 9-year highs.
Talking about things in the air, some ambitious students at Skyview High School in Vancouver tried to send a rocket into space today. They want to be the first amateurs to reach space, so they built the rocket and tried to launch it this morning. Unfortunately, this mission was aborted. The students didn't think the rocket's igniter, they thought that it would not reach the motor, and that's why it refused to launch. They're going to try to send another rocket into space in August, this time from the desert in southeastern Oregon.
Coming up on the 10 o'clock news, who wants to marry millions of problems? A popular show turns to shambles after revealing information comes to light about the groom. And there's a Portland connection.
Also, it's time to start thinking about those taxes. And the 10 o'clock news, well, we're here to help. The latest and easiest ways to file your forms in 2000 just ahead.
A truly chilling experience today for Portland police, taking the plunge for a little money in 2 minutes.
I'm meteorologist Rod Hill on the weather deck. Right now it's dry, but we do have some rain in the area. Our high temperature today, let me update that. Right now it's 45 degrees, so that's the high, the low 41. And so far, just about 1/10 of an inch of precipitation. A lot of rain coming to the northwest. I'll tell you when to expect most of it at 10:26.
Tomorrow on Good Day Oregon, Parent Survival Week continues with tips for dealing with that finicky eater.
Plus, how to teach your child good manners and 2 more chances to win a ski vacation to Utah tomorrow.
Critics everywhere are raving about My Dog Skip. USA Today calls it a rare breed, a family movie with a heart and a brain. The New York Times says Frankie Muniz, star of Malcolm in the Middle, is nearly as irresistible as Skip.
Roll over. Play dead.
And Joel Siegel proclaims it's a movie that will have you sitting up and begging for more. I loved every minute of it. My Dog Skip, rated PG, starts Friday, March 3rd at a theater near you.
Here's what the Northwest is saying about Lee and Susan and the Waking Crew on the big 98.7 KUPL.
I love Lee and Susan and the Waking Crew. They're a great bunch of people.
You know, Susan, I was sitting in the bathroom this weekend doing a little math, and I figured it out. We've raised over $250,000 for children's charities.
They really get me going.
You know, Amy King, you are the queen of denial.
I am not. They are too much fun in the morning.
Congratulations, you've won absolutely nothing.
I love those guys.
Lee and Susan and the Waking Crew on the big 98.7 KUPL.
Frogs do not have the active response system, and it shows. Only the Oldsmobile Alero has the active response system. 16 features working together to help connect you to the road. Right now, get 0% financing on the 2000 Alero or $500 customer cash. Alero with the active response system. Frog without the active response system. Alero by Oldsmobile.
Experience the biggest gardening event of the year at the 13th Annual Yard, Garden, and Patio Show at the Oregon Convention Center. See spectacular display gardens, visit over 200 gardening exhibitors, learn valuable techniques from experts like Dan Hinckley, Ann Lovejoy, Ed Hume, and Dulcie Mahar. Find specials in our garden center and enter to win the $10,000 garden giveaway. The 2000 Yard, Garden, and Patio Show, this weekend at the Oregon Convention Center. With Kim Singer and Kurt Ludlow, you're watching the 10 o'clock news on Oregon's News 12.
Did you wake up this morning with an urge to go for a dip in the Columbia?
Not me. How about you?
No way.
Well, chances are it was the last thing on your mind on this President's Day, but as Jim Hyde tells us, some Portland police officers decided to take the plunge.
You didn't need a thermometer to know the water was cold, but police officers and Explorer Scouts lined up on the dock at the Doubletree Hotel at Jansen Beach to jump into the Columbia River. Deputy Chief Lene Berg and Northeast Precinct Commander Derek Foxworth went first.
It's freezing, but exhilarating.
It's a little cold, but it's okay. But why? For the money pledged to the Police Explorer Scout program. Thus motivated, the several dozen divers could concentrate on style. With the water temperature about 40 degrees, sheriff's deputies and EMTs from the Fire Bureau concentrated on them. 2 at a time. 2 in, 2 out.
The later divers may have it even more difficult because they can see how really cold it is. And none of them stays in for more than a few seconds. Like, I'm numb.
The fastest time
One young man spent all of 9 seconds in the river, from dive to death. The haul-out crew had their hands full. Is that the craziest thing you ever did?
Yep. It was the coldest thing I ever did. Oh, my God. But it was for a good cause, right?
But next year's fundraiser, maybe a bake sale. In North Portland, Jim Hyde, 10 o'clock news.
Whoa, that was like torture. The Explore program is open to young people 16 to 21 years of age who have an interest in a law enforcement career.
The issue of using dogs to hunt cougars is back in the news. Washington Governor Gary Locke says he supports a Senate bill that would allow private hunters to use dogs when they hunt the big cats. Supporters say it's a public safety issue, but opponents of the bill say cougar fears are being blown way out of proportion. Oregon voters have voted against a similar bill in the past.
Defeated one twice, in fact. Topping other news from around Oregon tonight, the fastest growing part of Salem is also the most likely area for dangerous landslides. That's the official word from a state geological study. Scientists say heavy rainfall could cause the ground to shift in the Eola Hills as the area becomes more developed. Critics say the study's results could unnecessarily drive the cost of housing up in the area.
Slowly but surely, traffic is starting to move again on Highway 101 near Yachats. ODOT opened the road twice today, once in the morning and then again tonight for an hour at a time. Crews are still building a huge retaining wall along the road, which was closed for more than a month after massive mudslides.
People in Wilsonville could be paying more for their water. City council members are considering a 22% rate hike. This hike would help pay for the $36 million Willamette River treatment plant, which was approved by voters last year. 2 additional increases are also expected in years to come when the plant opens. Add it all up, people in Wilsonville could end up paying, on average, $53 a month for their water.
A tiny Oregon college is making a big impact as an online campus. About 250 students take classes through the World Wide Web at Merrillhurst University in Lake Oswego. With a simple mouse click, they can download class assignments and communicate with teachers and fellow students whenever they want. The school has devoted 13% of its academic budget to developing its cyberspace sites.
Well, kids crowded into the Beaverton Mall today to see a very special visitor, Pikachu, the wildly popular Pokemon character, happened to drop by the Emporium today, and children who donated canned food got to have their pictures taken with Pikachu. They also received a souvenir keychain. The food donations will be given to the Portland Rescue Mission.
The Trailblazers opened a 6-game homestand tonight in search of their 9th win in a row.
That's right. They played the Boston Celtics, a team with just 5 wins on the road this whole season. Tim Becker joins us now with tonight's Blazers Fast Break to tell us if it was an easy night for Portland. Tim?
Kim, the Blazers needed this one. After going into overtime in Sacramento yesterday and getting a scare from Washington and Golden State, it was time for an easy win. They haven't had one since before the All-Star break. Former Blazer Kenny Anderson back for a front row seat for what would turn into just a huge Blazer dunk fest. One after another, Scottie Pippen going down the baseline for the early slam. Pippen with 10 points in the first half, gets the feed from Damon Stoudemire and does it again. The Blazers up 3 after 1, but the Celtics tied at 29 right here. That's Eric Williams tipping in his own miss. But Portland stuck to those high percentage shots all night long. Pippen to Rasheed Wallace, 35-30 Blazers. Just before halftime, Jermaine O'Neal says, hey, man, I want to get in on this action, too. Takes his own steal to the rack for 2 of his 14 points. Rick Pitino's Celtics had trailed 49-43 at halftime, and it got worse for him. Steve Smith on the baseline. You know what's coming. Down the hatch it goes. Blazers by 11 after 3. Fourth quarter, hey, why not stick to it if it's working? Pippen to Bonzi Wells on the wing, 82-69 at that point. Portland pretty much having their way with the Celtics. Another lob to Wallace. He scored 16 tonight. Who needs half-court offense when you're running like that? Wells with another slam. A couple of more quick dunks. The Blazers just going out to a 19-point lead late in the game. And even reserve center Joe Klein would get in because of that. Forgot what number he was wearing. It's been that long since he's been on the floor. But he did play a couple of minutes out there. And the Blazers take it. They needed an easy win, and they would get one. 105-92 is the final. They win by 13 points. Sabonis had 8 rebounds to go with his 19 points. Rasheed Wallace right behind with 16 points and 7 boards. It's the 9th straight win for Portland, and they've also now won 14 in a row at the Rose Garden. For the time being, the Blazers hold a 1-game lead over the Lakers, who were idle tonight. They're going to come to the Rose Garden a week from tomorrow, but first things first, Portland has Orlando here Thursday, and then Utah here the following Sunday before Shaq and friends show up.
Utah always tough.
Yeah.
But they ran all over the Celts tonight, didn't
Yeah, they looked really good, and like I said, it was wonderful for them to have that break because they played a lot of close games and went into overtime in Sacramento, and you know, a little confidence builder here, I think.
Everybody needs that.
Yes, you do.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
As we continue now, taxes in the 21st century? Well, point and click your way to easy filing. We'll show you how when the 10 o'clock news continues.
Also, nicotine is addictive and deadly, but now it could be a treatment for a debilitating disease. Details in HealthCast.
Money can't buy happiness. It can buy you a whole lot of problems, though, if you're the Fox network. The Who Wants to Marry a Millionaire fiasco coming up.
Vern Troyer is leading the boys on a mission impossible.
Guys.
Shasta. Tuesday night at 9 on Oregon's 12. Jerry Seinfeld guest stars as a power-mad computer.
You bet your ass. Something computers don't have.
Dilbert, Tuesday night at 9:30 on Oregon's 12.
Years of technological achievements have made us what we are today. Jeep is the most award-winning brand of 4x4s ever. So we're celebrating the news with great offers on legendary Jeep vehicles, featuring an incredibly low $359 a month lease on the rugged and powerful Grand Cherokee Laredo. And be sure to check out the fun-loving Jeep Wrangler. So get to your Jeep dealer today and see where a little recognition can take you. Check out the Jeep Cherokee Freedom Package.
What's it like to experience a magical story unfolding right before your eyes? You have to see to believe. The all-new fireworks spectacular in the skies over Disneyland.
NASA is using satellite images to study urban sprawl, and Portland's one of the target cities. See how the Rose City looks from outer space coming up.
Phil Wick started changing tires for Les Schwab over 30 years ago. Today, he's president.
I always remember what Les taught me. Treat our customers like you treat your mom and dad.
We did it then, we do it now. You come in, we come running. Everything we do backed in writing with the Les Schwab warranty.
It all adds up to providing value for the money our customers spend.
Les Schwab, over 300 stores built on a one-store promise.
And like Les says, if we can't guarantee it, we won't sell it.
Tonight's weather report on the 10 o'clock news is brought to you by Dodge. Take a different road, head in a different direction, make a different statement. Dodge, different.
We've just made it easier to separate yourself from the crowd with a new Dodge Caravan, the most innovative, most imitated, most trusted minivan on the road today. Now, Caravan features low 0.9% financing for up to 60 months that could save you over $4,600. In a perfect world, everything would be different. Until then, see the friendly Dodge dealer near you during our Think Spring event.
It seemed like such an odd concept just a few years ago, but now the IRS is encouraging everybody, well, more people anyway, to file their income tax returns electronically.
And more folks are doing it, too. Tax preparers say the explosion of e-commerce on the World Wide Web is making people feel more comfortable about filing electronically or on the Internet. Mark Pettinger has the story.
Good evening, H&R Block. So I'll be with you in just a few seconds.
All right.
For Paul Carey, it's tax filing time.
And your work phone number.
I'm going for the rapid refund.
Even though this year's deadline is still 8 weeks away.
Here.
Like a growing number of taxpayers, Carey is choosing to file electronically.
Not in the past year.
You get going in the valley tomorrow. It will be rainy. Again, it could be blustery with winds gusting to about 30 miles per hour. Temperatures will reach the 50-degree mark or better around lunchtime, and then that will be the high for the day. Eugene, about 52. Up in the mountains tomorrow, starting off with a snow level of 5,000 feet, and then by dinner time down to 3,000 feet. Afternoon pass temperatures just above freezing. Government camp at 36. Could be some decent snow accumulations for much of the ski resorts actually tomorrow night. Bend 44. All of our state expecting some rain tomorrow. Burns 46 degrees with rain expected at times. Same in Baker City. And then more in the way of rain being constant by the time you get up into Pendleton. The Dalles could be raining most of the day tomorrow as well, a temperature of about 50. Winds up to about 25 miles per hour in the west end of the gorge. Cascade Locks tomorrow, 49. Okay, best bet of steady rain. There could be heavy at times between 7 and noon tomorrow, 52 at noon. And then steady rain through 5 o'clock still possible, but again, lesser amounts overall. Showers in Wednesday's forecast. Thursday night, a 0% chance of rain, but I think most of the time will be dry. And then a weak system on Friday. Saturday looks dry, but Sunday right now looks wet. Kind of interesting, the latest of these global warming 3-year projects. The latest research says that the so-called 100-year floods in this next 100 years may start happening every 20 years. And in the western United States, we may see a reduction in fresh water supplies due to less snow and more rain. And, of course, that would mean less runoff in the spring, which would reduce the supply of water in our reservoirs. So that's something to think about over the next 100 years. You know, a lot of those reports are still contradicting each other.
Both of those things
tough
contradict. On the one hand, we're going to see less...
Well, more floods, but the key to the less fresh water comes from less snow. We get most of our water in the reservoirs from the spring meltdown off of the snowpack.
Thank you for being the bearer of such good tidings.
Glad I could be here.
Thanks, Rod.
See you later. In tonight's HealthCast, the incidence of AIDS is going down. That's the good news. But one group, teenagers, is giving researchers reason to worry, and here's why. From July of 98 to June of 99, the Centers for Disease Control reported 482 new cases of HIV among girls 13 to 19 and 303 cases among teenage boys. Experts are now thinking that many adults who have AIDS, have HIV or AIDS, get the virus as teens. They just don't get sick until they reach their 20s or their 30s, so teens need to be careful. New research is also pointing to a potentially positive use for nicotine, especially nicotine patches. Doctors say it could fight brain diseases such as Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and Tourette's syndrome. Nicotine regulates certain chemical levels in the brain. It could eventually lead to drugs that keep brain cells from dying.
The dangers of obesity can show up in the corporate boardroom. The results of a first-ever health survey of 1,000 company leaders are shocking. Obesity costs employers more than $4 billion a year due to the loss of productivity. Nearly 3/4 of senior executives aren't getting enough exercise, and 36% of them are obese.
Last Friday, 12 on assignment took a look at the many places germs lurk, including ATMs and playgrounds. So in our 12 Talkback online poll, we asked you if you worry about being exposed to dangerous germs. Here's how you answered. 59% of you say no, you don't worry about it. 40% of you are concerned about dangerous germs.
Tomorrow is another big day in the race for president, quite possibly the determining factor.
Republican frontrunners George W. Bush and John McCain are now doing battle in Michigan. Bruce Morton has the story.
And thank you, sir, for your vote tomorrow.
Texas State Representative Diane DeLisi working the Bush phone bank, canvassing Oakland County just outside Detroit, an area that leans Republican. About half the volunteers making calls here are from Texas.
I was just calling to remind you that tomorrow is primary election day.
Bush has the big battalions. His campaign says that between last Thursday and tomorrow's vote, volunteers will make 500,000 calls statewide. 10,000 calls Sunday just in Macomb County, a battleground where many former Reagan Democrats live.
I'm going to be the one to carry Macomb County.
It's crucial because the non-traditional voter, the sons and daughters of the Reagan Democrats live, the blue-collar worker, those who are willing to look for a straight-shooting talker like John McCain, the person looking to the average Joe, the veteran, is where John McCain would some help.
These volunteers are zeroing in on voters who have not been called yet, a measure of how hard retail politics is in a state with almost 7 million voters.
This is the piece that we're going to pass out door to door today.
Still, McCain has volunteers, too. They are spreading the word by phoning and by leafleting. Angie DeBrincat and Pat Burgee are canvassing in Sterling Heights, part of important Macomb County. Lots of dogs. Some clerks are reporting absentee voting is higher than 4 years ago, which could mean a big turnout.
I've already voted.
Mr. Sarpoulos thinks most here are ready to vote, have made up their minds.
Phone banks and leafleting will continue to the last possible minute, then the voters take over. Bruce Morton, CNN, Southfield, Michigan.
Well, tomorrow night on the 10 o'clock news, we'll take you live to Michigan. We'll find out how Midwestern voters determine the race for in the GOP primary.
In the Democratic race, Vice President Al Gore and former Senator Bill Bradley debate at the landmark Apollo Theater in Harlem. It began with a question about racial profiling. Each said they're against it. Bradley says as president, though, he would issue an executive order banning it, and he wanted to know why Al Gore hadn't asked President Clinton to do the same thing. The question clearly angered the vice president.
First of all, President Clinton has issued a presidential directive under which the information is now being gathered that is necessary for an executive order. Look, we have taken action, but you know, racial profiling practically began in New Jersey, Senator Bradley.
Well, you get the idea. This 90-minute exchange frequently drew loud responses and jeers from the crowd.
At a time when we're seeing presidential candidates drop out of the race, another one decides to jump in. Ralph Nader, remember him? Well, he ran for the White House 4 years ago. Today he launched his latest bid under the Green Party banner. He's fought for environmental protection and fair trade for decades.
Today I wish to explain why, after working years as a citizen advocate on behalf of consumers, workers, the environment, taxpayers, I am seeking the Green Party's nomination for president.
Nader says our nation is undergoing...
It shows Rockwell as the subject of a temporary restraining order in Los Angeles back in 1991. The petition alleges Rockwell threatened his fiancee's life after she broke off an engagement.
I can't imagine him doing that. I've never seen that side to him.
Portland Comedy Club owner Barry Colin has been a friend of Rockwell's for 15 years.
I'm stunned by this because I wonder, what does this person have to prove? I mean, you know, is this someone with sour grapes?
The allegations about Rockwell were troubling enough for the Fox network to cancel the rebroadcast of its ratings buster, Who Wants to Marry a Millionaire? The network put out a statement saying Fox has become aware of information regarding Mr. Rockwell's past. In light of the new information, the network feels that to rebroadcast the special would be inappropriate, and consequently, we have removed it from our schedule.
I'm falling down and I can't get up!
Fellow comics see this as a publicity stunt that went bad.
Rick has always been a guy like a lot of comics who want to get attention and get famous.
Well, the owner of Harvey's Comedy Club says that he has talked with Rockwell and that Rockwell seems to be doing fine in his new marriage. He does still occasionally perform here at Harvey's, and he is due back here August the 15th. Back to you.
Yeah, and I'll bet it'll be packed that night. Say, Rockwell also had a restraining order against him by this girlfriend back in California, didn't he?
That's right. That was a 1991 situation out of Los Angeles. So that's what prompted Fox to cancel the rebroadcast, and it remains to be seen what else might be uncovered.
All right. Anna Katayama live tonight. Anna, thank you. Well, here's what you have to do to get a restraining order here in Oregon. First, you file a report with the district attorney's office, then you appear before a judge and you prove that there's some immediate possibility of harm, that there's a chance of violence being committed against you. But a restraining order is not granted automatically.
One of America's most beloved first ladies takes the spotlight in downtown Dallas. The sixth-floor museum and the Texas School Depository is paying tribute to the late Jackie Onassis, wife of John Kennedy. A collection of 30 photographs of Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, which first appeared at the museum in 1997, is back now. It's newly edited and revised. The photos were taken by internationally renowned photographer Jacques Lowe.
It's amazing how people will come through and they will just look at her and they will tell stories of I remember when, or I remember reading about her trip to Paris, or I remember that dress. Almost anything that people really key to.
Tribute to Jackie photo exhibit runs through the year 2002. In addition to the Jackie O exhibit, the sixth-floor museum is also celebrating its 11th anniversary.
Next in sports, some bad news for Mike Dunleavy Jr., who's been having a super basketball season at Duke.
Let us down.